right, everybody, what is going on? Needs more drums back in Griffin, Indiana, after what seems like a very, very long time in this series. I gotta say, real life has been pretty busy. For me with work and then getting some things together for the band. We had a gig not too long ago and had to work with some new members. And so obviously it takes a little bit more practice to get jamming with everybody and stuff and figuring out what everybody's got going on. But yeah, if you guys didn't know, I am a drummer. I do have a band, and yeah, we like to play shows pretty regularly, especially now that the summer's coming around. Trying to get prepared for that. So yeah, real life has been keeping me busy, like I said. But it is nice to jump into the game, and it actually really has been a long time in the game too. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 whole years in the game, and I'm not lying. I actually did play through 10 years, and it took a little bit longer than I thought, but I'm glad I did it. We're finally in a place to kind of move forward with the series in the way that I want. So yeah, I'm really happy. And just get some things off, right off the bat. You might notice that the game looks quite a bit different. And first, I want to tell you why, and then I want to show you around a little bit, and then I'll kind of go more into some of the some of the other changes that I've made to the game and everything. But this major change is I added a bunch of mods, and I'll get into them in a little bit. Some of the other ones, but I just want to say that the Relight mod is installed, and that is something that you cannot get on the mod hub. It's one of those mods that you have to actually go and download from the web from a separate website. And it is free though, and it's totally safe, super easy to download and install. And I will add a link in the description for those of you who want to try it. But when we look at some of the vehicles in a minute, you'll actually be able to see some of the differences with this Relight mod. It's absolutely fantastic. It just makes the game look so much better. But yeah, let's go ahead. Before I talk about other mods, let's go ahead and see what changes we have around the farm, and it is a lot of them. As you might see, we got a little bucket laying there for a front loader, and we have a lot of equipment that I want to show you. So first of all, let's go take a look over here, and you will see this old class harvester. Unfortunately, this is not actually owned by us. I have this leased right now. I just finished this harvest on my 3 really small fields over there, and the reason that I have this harvester is because we actually are able to plant. I just harvested some oats, which is a cereal crop, and if you remember earlier in the series, I never planted cereal crops because I never had a seeder. I only had a planter. So now we actually do have a seeder. So I'll go over here, walk around the back, and show you kind of some of the new additions that we got. So first of all, I got this cultivator. It's not big, but it is, it gets the job done, and our fields aren't too big either. So it still only takes me a few, like 20 minutes or something, or half hour in, real time to cultivate the field. So it's not really too bad. We already had our plow, we already had our planter, we already had our sprayer, we already had our mower that we don't don't use very often, but we will eventually. So good to have it around. Yeah, this is our seeder. It's a Amazon D9 3000, and it is a fantastic seeder for what we D93 D9 3000 Super. Yes, that's what it is. I think it's actually a modded one. I know this one, or one very like it, is it's in the very much similar to it and very much like it is in the base game. But this modded one had a little bit more detail, and I kind of liked it, so I figured I'd pick it up. And yeah, it works really well. It's the perfect work width. It's only like 3 meters or something, and it's the perfect size. It's like 1,000-liter capacity. So yeah, great size for the farm. But as you might notice, some of this equipment is a little bit bigger than what we've been working with. And so I figured, you might think, oh man, how does that little John Deere actually deal with all this? Well, I found another tractor, and he's hiding in here. Oh yeah, there's the front loader for our John Deere. Was able to get that. So now this guy's kind of like, it's always been our workhorse, but now he's kind of doing a little bit more of the some of the lifting and everything around the farm, moving around pallets and everything, and getting deliveries. But we have this Case Maxim Series 115, and this is a small tractor, but it's got 145 horsepower. And the best part is that I got this. So the great thing about Farming Simulator 22 is the used market. You know, if you pop into the store and you can see what different types of things are on sale that you could buy, and this was definitely one of them, and it was on sale for like half off. I got this thing for like, man, what was it like? It's like 50 grand, and it's regular like over 100. So great addition to the farm. 145 horsepower for a small tractor is a lot, or maybe it's only one. Maybe it's only 115 right now because it's the 115, but it can get up to 145. So either way, it's a great addition to the farm, and has allowed us to use a little bit bigger equipment, including that seeder, and it has a 3-point hitch on the front, so we can actually add a front weight, so we can use that seeder that's a little bit heavier equipment, and that cultivator as well. So super excited that we have this, and it's been our workhorse for the time being. But yeah, we also picked up a couple new trailers. We got ourselves a little gravity wagon to haul our grain around and everything, and sell our grain and whatever. And it is fantastic, pretty cheap, and it holds like 11,700 liters or something like that. So it's pretty big. Perfect for the size of our farm. Converted this into a little flatbed trailer to haul like our store deliveries, our pallets and everything, because this one you can actually fasten the tension straps on. So it's a perfect little trailer for that. And then we also have this. This is just a bale trailer. So I have been able to bale, any straw. As you can see on the field right now, we got to go do that. Bale some straw, make some round bales, and then sell those for a little bit additional profit. I do not have a baler right now, but that is, probably something that I'll get pretty soon. But I wanted to save up some cash because the goal of today is to expand the farm. I want to expand the farm. But before we do that, I want to jump in to kind of like the loading screen and show you guys some of the new mods that we've picked up in addition to Relight. And as you can see, like this, everything just looks so much better. The colors and the lighting. And I will say that it really shines in pun intended in sunrises and sunsets. It really just makes these beautiful orange sunsets that just look reflect beautifully off of the vehicles and everything. And like, yeah, it's just great mod. So if you haven't picked it up and want your game to look a million times better with literally no performance impact, go grab it. It's great. But yeah, let's talk about some of the other mods that we have in the game. All right, and I figured this is the best way to do this, just so I can kind of scroll through some of the ones that I have installed in the game at the moment. And so besides vehicle mods, I don't really want to talk too much about those. I want to talk about some of the mods that I have for gameplay that just make this series a little bit more realistic, a little bit more fun to play, and kind of forces us to think outside the box a little bit, and not make everything super mundane. So additional field info is one. It just kind of shows you some additional field info, such as like who owns it, how big it is, things like that. I think maybe potential yield or price per acre or something. Shows a couple things. Pretty handy to have. Yeah, a lot of vehicles that we're not using at the moment, but obviously still running courseplay, crop growth stage info. This is a great one that is super fun, and it allows you, well, I guess it's not super fun, but it's definitely super informative, and allows you to see the growth stage of your crop, so you can see when you should, when you can still drive on the field, when you can forage. I haven't done any forage harvesting yet, or anything like that. So if you do that kind of stuff, it's very helpful. Crop rotation. This one is super fun, and I love having this in the game because not only do you get to, it kind of forces you to plant some different kind of crops that you might not otherwise plant. If you have a good crop rotation, it'll also increase your yield by, anywhere from like 5 to 15%. So yeah, great mod. Makes, like I said, it helps you kind of plant some crops that you might not otherwise plant to keep your yields high. So really always love having that, and it's something that farmers do in real life to keep the soil full of the right nutrients, because not all the crops need the same nutrients. So when one crop takes out a major nutrient from the soil, you plant a crop next year that will replenish that nutrient while taking out some different ones, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's a good one. But yeah, create some other ones like create fields cultivator. That's been in there for a minute. Let's see, exhaust extension. This one's kind of cool. You'll see this. It affects the exhaust smoke of the machines and the tractors and everything. And so the more engine power, the thicker the smoke. Again, just a little realistic touch. Fill over warning for combines, another realistic touch that gives you a nice little beep and turns the beacons on when you hit 50%, and then the beacons come on at 80%. So good, especially if you're doing like multiplayer or something. You want to signal to people that you're getting full. Perfect one for that. And just a bunch of more vehicles. Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of it for yeah. And then relight, like I said here, there's a really good one for you to grab. All right, so back in the game here, let's just take a look at kind of what we've done for the past 10 years. So as you can see in the bank, we have a nice hefty amount of about almost $220,000. So we got quite a bit of cash to spend, and we've been saving up over the years. So where did that money come from? Well, just a quick rundown. The past 10 years, let's see, starting with year one, we planted some corn, sold some corn, and all the harvest kind of sold for the 12 to 14,000 depending on the prices and everything. So that's a pretty good ballpark number for any harvest. So we sold corn, then we did soybeans, then we did sunflowers, and actually and that was in year 3. So after year 3 I started to think about doing some contracts, and I said, you know what, I know I said I wasn't really going to do contracts, but it was just taking a long time to make. After I, noticed how much our harvests were going to sell for, I figured it would take a long time to make the money that I wanted to make. So I allowed myself one contract a year. And that contract, I typically would do, like a harvesting contract. And, well, I didn't do any other contracts besides harvesting contracts. And it had to be the same crop type because, as you know, harvesting contracts allow you to keep a little bit of the harvest after you always end up getting harvesting more than is required for the transport portion of the contract. So you can keep, a pretty hefty portion usually, especially in our case, is about equal to our own harvest. So we essentially double our harvest income each year with the contract income. And the reason that I said it has to be the same crop type is because we only have one flat bottom bin silo. So obviously I don't think you would mix grains in these, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is just doesn't have any kind of separation in it or anything like that. So I figure, okay, if we harvested wheat, then I got to find a wheat contract so we can keep some of the harvest and then sell it, at all at the same time and make like double the income. So yeah, starting in year 3, I did one harvest contract every year for the same crop type, essentially double their income. So we went from like 14 grand to closer to 30. So actually that was only a couple times. Usually it'd be, closer to like 20 something, and then we'd sell some bales and make another 3 grand. So nonetheless, we were from 12 to 14,000 to around like $25,000 total profit for the year from our harvests and our contracts and everything. So yeah, so year 4, we sold some soybeans, then we did wheat, then we did wheat again, and then we did canola, and then that's when I thought about implementing the crop rotation mod. So after that, it actually came into play, and here is our current. Let me show you our current rotation here. So we started with canola. Then in year 8, we did corn. Year 9, we did wheat. And now here we are in year 10, we just did some oat. So this is really good. And I'll tell you why in a second. I'm really happy about this. But after that, we want to get the fields prepped for some barley. And, I could do, instead of the barley, or the barley, oh my gosh, sorry. Don't know why I pronounced it that way. Anyway, instead of the barley, we have, so as you can see, these are our yield bonuses for the year for our crop rotation. So we get, 15% bonus, 10%, 15, 15, and then 10%. If I were to change this to a fallow, meaning that we don't plant anything, then all of these would have a perfect yield bonus of 15%. The reason that I don't want to do that is because I don't really care about the marginal yield decrease for barley and corn will obviously make a significantly greater amount of money by selling an entire harvest than, in this year, than we will skipping a year and then gaining like an extra 5% from our corn harvest. So this 5% is not going to be worth like $14,000. So that's the way I see it, is like, this is, planting a crop that will allow us to continue to plant something every year and, have a marginally detrimental yield bonus. And it's not even a detriment. I mean, we still have a 10% bonus It's just a less of a bonus, I guess. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So we're going to keep that. But yeah, what we're going to do now is um, buy another field, because that I've been saving up to do just that. And the reason that I'm keeping this harvester is that this actually might work out in our favor, because the field that I want to buy, and I will show you. Let's take the map. Take a look at the map here. So these are our tiny little fields, little baby fields over here. I mean, these things are microscopic compared to like literally every other field on the map. So I want to buy field number 4, and it's only $187,000, and it's close to us. And then I figure we could buy 4, and then maybe we could buy 5, and then we could potentially work our way over to like 9 and 10 here and start buying up some of these smaller fields. But yeah, the reason that I want to buy farmland number 4 is, 1, it's very affordable, and it'll still leave us with a little bit of spending money. And 2, I just realized it has oats on it. So that means that I think if Farming Simulator 19 proved anything, is that if you buy a field with a crop on it, then it'll stay there. Like, it won't get rid of that crop. So hopefully we should be able to harvest this. And so that's why I'm keeping our harvester for right now, in case we can actually go ahead and harvest this field. And that would be awesome, because that would basically double our income as well, considering that these fields are relatively microscopic compared to this one. I think this is probably maybe like a third of what's actually in here. So maybe we might even triple or quadruple our income. And if that's the case, then I'm going to be a very, very happy man to make, 40 grand a year instead of like 12. So yeah, so let's go ahead and just bite the bullet and just buy this, because I think we are ready. All right, so it looks like it's still on here. So let's go ahead and get down there with the tractor, and I'll bring the grain cart over as well, and we'll see if we can get ready for harvest. I'll be a happy man if we can. Oh man, I know that sign said a dead end, but I didn't actually think it would be this dead. So it looks like we got to turn around. Took a little bit of a wrong turn here, so we're gonna have to drive through this guy's yard and go back the other way. Whoops. And as we're driving down this road here, this is a great opportunity to kind of show you guys the exhaust mod that I was talking about. So you can see, we're just kind of cruising along here, and then if I really put the pedal down, you see how it gets a lot thicker, kind of, adjusts to how much power I'm giving the engine. So just a nice little realistic touch that I find very cool. Oh, look at that. That's just awesome. This field is all for us to harvest. That is super cool. I am very excited for this. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Let's just go ahead and pull this tractor over here off the road. And I'm going to go get the harvester, and we can get started and get this done and in our silo. And see, right now you can kind of start to see the effects of relight as the sun's kind of starting to go down. I think it just makes just the reflection off the vehicles, just looks really, really good. And I'm really happy that I was able to download that. And yep, 12 miles an hour, not the fastest, but we're getting there. Slow and steady wins the race, as they say. I think one of the first things we do if we sell this harvest and have enough money is I'd like to buy a combine or a harvester, whatever you prefer to call it. But yeah, that would be super ideal, and I think we would be able to afford one pretty soon here. One other thing that I want to talk about too, up until now I have not used a helper at all, and so I want to, from this point forward, I want to say that we can allow ourselves one helper at a time, because we've been on this farm for 10 years, and I think we can afford, a little bit of help, especially now that we have this bigger field. Not saying that I'm going to use one right now, but just in the future, maybe for some of those jobs that I don't really want to do, like plowing or something, maybe a helper wouldn't be too bad, especially on this big field. Maybe having someone be able to handle some of those tasks, it would be nice. Or maybe even just doing a contract, having a helper do a contract while we focus on our farm. That might be a good idea too. So yeah, we'll think about what we could do with that. But if that's something that will be a pretty good asset to us. So this feels a little bit big for this harvester. It might take us quite a bit, and if we have to go into tomorrow, I think that'll be all right. I will say though, I think it is supposed to rain tomorrow, so that'll be a little bit unfortunate if we get caught in the rain and not being able to harvest, since we are leasing this and we have to pay for it by the day. Day wasted is going to cost us like another $1,000. No, actually, that's not true at all. It costs us $1,000 to lease this, so it's not going to cost us $1,000 per day. That's like the the base cost included and everything. So I think it'll cost us like 300 or some bucks though. But either way, I would not want to spend $300 just having this thing sit for another day if we don't have to. So any minute that we can spend harvesting today, I typically like to harvest till about like 10 o'clock or so. So maybe we'll see how much we can get done in the next, that'd be 4 hours. I think we can get quite a bit done. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all squared away. Do as much of this as I can. Then I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, just finishing up our last couple passes here on this this field that, took quite a bit of time to harvest, just compared to what I've been used to. I mean, usually I'd be able to get through those fields in like a half hour. This one, was a little bit more than that, and it's just for this one field alone, which is good though, because so far I think we've got about 30,000 liters of oats in the silo, and then I just loaded up the old gravity wagon over there with another load from this, so another 5,000, and then this one is, what are we at here? Let's take a look. Almost another 3,000. So yeah, so we got quite a bit, quite a decent yield. Put us up 37,000 or so. Can't complain about that. And it's all ours. We didn't do a contract this year, and I'm not really planning to. I kind of just wanted to do the contracts for the what do you call it, just to get us enough money to buy this land. But yeah, I don't know, to come to think of it though, maybe I will do one and just have our helper do it, because there's a big oat contract on field 12, which is the one right next to our farm, and it looks like if we can get that harvest, that would be a pretty substantial amount of product for us. So I'm thinking maybe I'll have our helper do that while we're getting this field prepped, especially since today we have a full day of harvest, and I think we can harvest oats into August as well. So that, yeah, I might do that in the next episode. We'll see. But speaking of which, the next episode I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm planning to do. So we need to obviously bale all of our straw, and we have quite a bit of it. I mean, in this field alone, there's I feel like we're gonna have a lot of bales to sell, which is gonna be good, considering that the livestock dealer where we sell the straw is literally right next to our farm, so it's not a big deal to transport those bales. I don't mind making a couple trips. So yeah, so I'll go ahead and next episode we will lease a baler and get this going. And I'm also thinking about, there's a mod that I saw it's a lease to own, so it might be worth downloading that and maybe consider leasing a baler indefinitely to just kind of make some monthly payments on it, and then we can actually eventually just put down the price, the full price, and end up owning that baler. So I don't know. We'll see. Still thinking about that though, but yeah, definitely something we should be in the market for, since it's something we use pretty frequently, especially in addition to a harvester. I would like to get a harvester going. But yeah, so in the next episode, we'll bale this. We will get the fields prepped for the next planting season, which is actually, I'm thinking about, well, I'm not thinking about it, because of crop rotation, I want to plant some barley, and that is, the planting season is in the, is it the summer, late summer, early fall? Yeah, so early fall we'll be able to start planting our barley, so we can get the fields prepped in the next month or two, do our cultivating and everything, and then we'll be able to plant that in a couple of months, which will be in the next episode. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna go ahead and return this harvester and transport that grain back to the farm. But thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope that this video brought a few more followers to the series. It's always good to kind of see a before and after. I feel, otherwise it gets a little bit mundane and everything. So big changes coming ahead. I have some plans, some cool plans for the farm, back by where the barn is and everything, now that we've bought this bigger field, and we'll continue to buy some bigger fields. I want to kind of repurpose some of the older fields that we have. So I will see you guys in the next episode where we get our field prep going. And until then, have a great rest of your week. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.